Hello, thank you for calling CommCast. This is our second episode of the podcast, and unfortunately, this is going to have to be the last episode of the podcast, because I'm afraid we have been destroyed intellectually as an entire movement. Like, the left has no opportunity anymore. If we can take a look at this tweet over here. Michael Knowles, fucking god of the wrinkled brain, pointing out possibly one of the greatest grammatical mishaps of our time by the former president-elect here.
Oh, he got him.
Yeah, Michael Knowles of Daily Wire, fucking Ben Shapiro's secret fuck buddy, doesn't understand a third grade reading word, and I don't really know how to live with myself after this. It's still up as a tweet, and he's been defending it. Like, he's been saying in the comments, like, yeah, no, I know impactful's a word. It's just, like, it's so ridiculous to use about this. Like, think about it, man. How can something have impact? How can something be full of impact? It's like, yikes. Just fucking take the L and move on, buddy.
Honestly, what a ridiculous thing.
It's painful. But, yeah. Like I said, I don't know if we can continue after that, but...
I sure can't. How can I possibly have any degree of impact when there's no degrees to impact at all?
Exactly.
It's either we have impact or no impact.
Right. Like, we set out on this mission to have an impact on...
Clearly, we can't... Like, I'm not ready for full impact.
Yeah.
I was hoping for just the tip,
Yeah, maybe we can have impact-ish, but...
Impact-ish.
Anyway, with that, we can move on into more serious topics. Really, all I could think about to talk about today was kind of how, ever since socialism, like, had its big collapse with, like, the USSR and all that shit, we've kind of had the branding of socialism sort of, like with the Richard Wolff's meme of, like, socialism is when the government does stuff, and when it does a whole lot of stuff, that's communism. And so, yeah, we see anytime publicly funded programs that, increase taxes get derailed as socialism immediately, and they point to, China, Russia, all these other places that, weren't even really socialist nations when they collapsed.
First of all, not socialist, not communist.
Yeah, and I don't know. This is generally regarded as pretty harmful to the movement, and I think in many ways it is, but I'm also trying to think of how that might be possibly beneficial to us if we can sort of reappropriate that and sort of, we have to keep the main tenet of socialism in mind, which is bringing the democracy we see in government, or, an improved democracy from there, into the workplace. Yeah.
So, like that's the simplest answer is to educate, obviously. Like, you have to educate people on what socialism and communism is. And, for example, the USSR was
it's like state capitalism, essentially.
Like even the USSR was not socialist, and they acknowledged that at the time. They said they were a stepping stone towards it. Right.
Well, Lenin acknowledged that, and he knew that, he tried to start the movement there, and they got, like, part of the way to seizing production, and he died. Yeah. And then the people who came after him had different visions, and Stalin was kind of like, I say we're still working on it, people are going to be mad. So.
Yeah, and that was the biggest problem with the USSR, is it was a dictatorship.
Yeah.
Like, from the basis of the government foundation of the USSR was not democratically elected.
Right. And I think
it was just down to Lenin saying, okay, this is what socialism is. We're going to demand socialism onto the farmers of like the Ukraine and whatnot, which has caused all the problems for the all the farmers and created the famine that killed millions of people. So it's not that socialism is what killed it. It was a dictatorship with an extremely eager and anxious commander saying, I have such a strong belief that this can work that I will make it work under any circumstance.
Yeah. And like, I think, in the end, socialism and authoritarianism are inherently conflicting ideals, because without democracy, socialism as its pure form cannot exist. Like, even if the means of production are seized by the state, it can somewhat function as a socialist thing if your state is like entirely democratically elected. But even that's a worse option than just having complete democracy in the state and a like separate democracy within your or not even necessarily separate, but a full democracy within your workplace.
Yeah, so it's like people I was having a conversation with a coworker the other day about like, I was like, oh, I'm socialist, and he was like, yo, you gotta be careful with those labels and everything, man. Do you even know what socialism is? And then he gave the common cow analogy. Like, you own a cow, that cow makes 4 gallons of milk, the government takes 3 and leaves you with 1, and blah blah blah. And it was just like, no. Because that's not what socialism is. Socialism is not the state controlling the means of production.
That's
it's
incongruent to labor theory of value, which is one of the main tenets of socialism.
I was like, first of all, the state does not want anything to do with your milk. Like, it's just dumb. Like, it's just, you have to be slow is the thing. Cause like you want to be like, you're wrong and you're dumb. At least I do. I just very much want to call people fucking idiots.
Yeah, and I have a really bad habit of letting my feels take over and just jumping into it.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem is starting the fire. It's like I want the fire now, and you just like lighter fluid everything. But it's like just get the flint in there, get it rolling, and you'll have a smoother flame that lasts longer. And like that's what we need to have happen. But right now, political discourse is like, I just saw, if you want to pull up Twitter, Bernie Sanders' Twitter. He just made a post that was like very, very aggressive, saying like, oh yeah, perfect, it's right there.
Oh, hey.
Okay, well, I'm just going to read it verbatim for here until we can maybe edit it into the
I'll put screen caps of them.
Yeah, it's I always find it amusing when our opponents talk about the far left agenda. The truth is, our ideas are common sense ideas that the majority of American people support. Like, it's true that a lot of like the majority of Americans do support things like gun control and Medicare for all. But like, when you use language like that just says like, our ideas are common sense, it just paints the pictures of like, conservatives are fucking idiots that don't know what they're doing and blah blah blah. And
yeah.
It just creates that wedge.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess, not using harsh language like that. I guess in a similar way to how right now in society, like a revolutionary takeover would not work in the US, like how the USSR was done through revolution, how capitalism was formed through revolution. Like, the state that the country is in right now, a revolution would not work. And likewise, in our discourse, I don't think hyper revolutionary or like aggressive talk like that is always the best option. For socialism, like, socialism is unique in the fact that I think like standard revolt is not the answer. Yeah. Because socialism requires people to be working together. And like right now with the 50-50 split,
between like what people believe, even if it's an illusion of what people believe. That has to be taken down first. So yeah, like we have the tool to push for socialism, which is the majority opinion. We just have to, I don't know, we just have to somehow transition the majority opinion into majority electoral rule, which I think is the hardest part, because what it comes down to between Republican and Democrat is not policy. It is strictly like moral and virtue. I would say if you asked a Republican like their three biggest things, the three biggest contentions against the Democratic board, it would be like pro-life, immigration, and I don't know what the third one would be.
Taxes, I guess.
Probably taxes.
Yeah.
But like almost all of the arguments would be against some moral degree.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Moderates. I feel like, yeah, moderates tend to not really care about policy, and most people are moderates. They're just kind of like whoever seems like a better dude. I mean, not even necessarily, yeah, putting that directly onto moderates, but like most of the population, yeah, is just kind of like unaware of how policy directly affects their lives and how they can like create change within that policy. So they're just kind of whoever is more relatable and good of a guy, they put their vote in for.
Oh yeah, I mean that's always how it's been for for everyone since the beginning of television. Really, it's just been whoever's been the most theatrical and the most charismatic to the most people.
And I'm like, the only real way I can see to affect any change in that area is like just changes in our education and making sure people are more aware of that. But also, like, I guess that's where I talk about not necessarily just allowing the term, like the meaning of socialism to change, but having some control of where that outreaches to. Just because if we can, the majority of the population is for things like healthcare and all that, and if we can conflate that with just being a good person, or like conflate that with the like good charismatic guy, like politician, then maybe we can get those people more electable, make those people more electable, and then through having those people elected who have these quote unquote socialist ideals, people might say, oh, well, that actually kind of worked. Maybe these other socialist ideals aren't, like, maybe we should have a look at these. It opens it up to a lot of corruption from people on the right trying to trash socialism still, but I think if you can maintain a control of that, it's not necessarily harmful, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the most efficient way to go about destigmatizing the word of socialism would be along the lines of starting with smaller changes. I would say, like, if I had my way and I was in the presidential seat, I would, to really kickstart the revolution, I would first of all reduce military spending and increase it, put it into education.
That needs to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, like, education is probably the number one, like, issue for most of our problems.
Oh, yeah.
You know, crime rates, everything. Like, it all ties into
increasing
education
first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then after that, my next move would be to remove welfare and institute a UBI. I think that would be just so much simpler, and everyone gets something, so no one's going to be mad.
Yeah, you'd have to, I don't know how, like, if just, like, you'd have to transition out of welfare, I feel like.
I think UBI would just be the switch on and off. Because right now welfare it's like so
if
much,
the UBI is done well enough, yeah.
Yeah, because welfare right now is like so convoluted with paperwork and shit, and like all these requirements that you have to meet. And like if you work,
well, I mean, yeah, welfare is like incentivizing you to not do anything, because once you start making money, oftentimes you like start losing money compared to what you had on welfare.
Because welfare says, I mean, it's just the overall mentality of if you can work, then you don't need help. And they say, oh, you can work now, you don't need the welfare, even though you like not working put you into debt, and now you have all these debts that you have to pay off. And the welfare is something you still need to help pay off those debts, because your work, it may pay off all the bills you have currently, but it doesn't do anything to offset what you couldn't pay when you weren't working, you know?
Yeah. So UBI is definitely a step up in that. I think ultimately, like, the best solution is like just decommodifying like housing market and all this other shit, but that's a lot more of a radical solution, and UBI is probably the best step you can take towards that.
Yeah, housing would definitely have to be the next step. I don't know. There's ways to combat it. Like, I was talking with Ishbel about housing co-ops. She brought that up to me about a group of people owning like a share of land and having a stake in that real estate property. Like,
I've heard relatively good things about housing co-ops, but I haven't looked a ton into them.
Me neither. I need to do research into co-ops. It's something I've been meaning to do. I might try to do.
I know like in terms of worker co-ops and stuff, they definitely have like higher rates of stability and higher rates or higher they're more resilient to price shocks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard a ton, or I haven't like looked into a ton on the like statistics of housing co-ops.
No, it was just a short conversation. It was something that we wanted to look into.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting idea.
Yeah, I don't know fully about like decommodifying housing just yet. I'm not that radical.
Well, yeah. I mean that's what I mean. Like a UBI would be a step in the right direction. It's just not. It's also not the end all. Like, it's not the end state. I think.
Because the biggest thing also is the stigma that your fellow worker deserves to be where they're at. Like, the competition is so fierce within the working class that it's like you have to stomp over and swallow your fellow coworkers to get to the top, to get higher up on the ladder. Like, it's just a bunch of hands and feet clawing up a ladder trying to get to the highest, but obviously the ladder's so small, so you have to push other people aside, and it just creates like an extremely toxic mentality within workforces that says, why should the billionaires have to pay more taxes because they worked harder? They worked 80, 100-hour weeks. They did all this to make sure their company thrived. And what did fucking Jack do? Sit on fucking playing Xbox and whatnot, working as a fucking line cook or whatever. And it's like, nobody's saying that like fucking Joe Nobody should have the exact same things that fucking Elon Musk should have, you know?
Yeah.
But like, he deserves fucking livable conditions, you know? Yeah,
and that's the thing is a UBI, things like UBI and reforming education, specifically like free education, is it's the equality of outcome is a stupid goal. It's impossible, and it's not conducive to like it just doesn't work. But the point of socialism and this stuff is to provide an equality of opportunity, because if you don't have access to a proper education, if there's no way that you can if you don't have like a meaningful role in the workplace, and if you're just exploited, everybody in the workforce is exploited labor, then your social mobility is extremely hampered. So even if you do put in that hard ass extra labor, there's an insane amount of luck that comes into moving through classes. It's not just you work hard, you reap the benefits.
Yeah.
And the point of UBIs and all that is making sure, okay, even if you have a super fucking unlucky time, a comet hits your fucking business, and you can't work for a while. Yeah, whatever. Like, you're not gonna be in debt done for the rest of your fucking life or die. Like, it's you have the opportunity to recover from that and get back into the social mobility ranks, and like it's a safety net.
Yeah, I feel like if the safety net was also just extended, it would also create less of, let me try to figure out how to word this. So like, obviously people work harder for more money so they can have a savings account, so they can pay for their kids' education and just pay for kids in general and all that. And so say you're like working your way up a ladder, you're a manager in a company, you're like a floor manager in this big 30 floor building, and your incentive is pretty much just money at that point.
Yeah.
Like, why else are you working this job? It comes down to like, you're doing it for the safety net. So if the safety net was just slightly broadened into the lower working class, it would just make life easier. There would be less stress in workplaces. There would be less.
Yeah. It allows you to put more focus into the job you're actually doing.
Yeah.
And
instead
likewise,
of trying to look at where you're trying to go.
Yeah. And likewise, in further democratization of the workplace, if you actually have like a stake in that company, that also motivates you to like actually put some care and like heavy thought into what you're doing.
Yeah, because the illusion that companies believe is that the bottom tier employees just don't care about the company as much.
Right.
And it's like,
I think it's just an inherent workforce thing, kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's like, why would I be spending 40 plus hours of my life a week just fucking around doing nothing? Like, obviously I'm going to have investment in my job. I'm going to want to do a good job. I'm going to want to work harder. If you give people more, they're going to want to do more to feel like they earned what they're getting,
Yeah.
Like, if someone's getting paid fucking $8 an hour to work in McDonald's, they're not gonna care if the order's right every fucking time. They're gonna see 20 fucking tickets and they're gonna be like, all right, I need to make fucking 50 burgers. I'm gonna get 50 burgers out the fucking door. I don't care if you want no pickles. I don't care if you want no cheese.
Yeah.
And it's just like what? Like, why would I? The value I'm getting in my life out of this job is not worth the stress of just hyper focusing on everything I do in this job, going home, sleeping, making no money to do anything in my free time. All my money's going towards bills. Like, why would I stress myself out over a job that is not providing me a quality of life?
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, every step of our life is basically training us to just be like indispensable cogs in the broader system. And I guess some older generations kind of had it forced into them that like that's just what you do, and it's the work that like it's the busting your ass over like labor that you hate that
But it worked for them.
But yeah, I mean,
they
but
got
yeah, they
houses
they're
and shit. They
had fucking massive wages that like you could work at a gas station and buy a house.
Dumb.
The housing market was fucking fantastic.
Right? Like everything was so
like
it didn't matter if you hated your job because your outside life was fucking awesome.
Yeah, and yeah, at this point when I guess, yeah, so many people still hold on to that mindset of like, oh, well, I mean, you know, I could have bought a house when I was working at a gas station. So now if I'm working at like a larger firm, you know, I can buy a whole bunch, I can buy like a much bigger house and shit. And they still have that like, oh, well, if you're working at a gas station and you can't buy a house, it's probably because you're like spending it all on booze or some shit. It's because you're being lazy. It's not because, you know, our wages are worth like fucking 5% of what they were. Like,
yeah. So yeah, people just I feel like the biggest contention against socialism is that people feel like people aren't equal, and that is what needs to be broken first before anything. That's why we need, like, first of all, people are somehow illusioned. I don't like, this is like the most wonderful fallacy of the right to me is how they say, oh, I don't want to pay fucking taxes to the government. What the fuck? Are you stupid? That's my money. Why should the government get it? What do they use it for? And then they go and say, oh, Trump increased the fucking military budget by $1 trillion fucking dollars.
Yeah, well,
hell,
I mean,
yeah, dude, fucking like, kill those Iraqis, my guy.
Nobody fucking talked about the national deficit at all under Trump. Like he fucking raked up that shit. But like, you know, I mean, now that Biden's in office, you know, that's going to be like their main fucking talking point. But
it's like when you think about it, the right says I don't want to pay taxes. Yeah. But the taxes they are paying, 60% of it is going towards military. That's not going back into communities. That's not going to roads. That's not going to schools.
Right. The issue is not the taxes. It's that you're not seeing the returns.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe if over half of our budget wasn't being sent to fucking
bombing weddings in the Middle East,
Boeing and what's the name of the fucking
Koch brothers?
What's the one here in Orlando? One of the big stations here in Orlando. It's the name of a military research company. Lockheed Martin.
Oh, Lockheed Martin. Yeah.
Lockheed Martin.
Oh, isn't Siemens also here?
Siemens is here too. But Siemens also does green energy stuff too.
Okay.
So like,
all right.
I don't know what Lockheed Martin's all about, but I know they have a lot of rocket research going on here in Orlando.
Well, I mean, Florida's got a bunch of rocket shit.
Yeah, like you're spending all this money to monitor other fucking nations that haven't done anything to us in like 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's like you're complaining about paying taxes, maybe because they're not fucking doing anything for America, because you instead incentivize them to be spent elsewhere and glorify it being spent on military.
Right. Taxes wouldn't be stealing your money if you actually got something. Yeah, like yes, you would have to pay slightly more, like, I mean, not even really, like, if you started taxing, like making corporations in America actually start paying taxes, you'd have a fuck ton more pool to pull from. Yeah. But also, like, if you increase the taxes a little bit on the whole population, like, yeah, you'll be paying more yearly there, but you'll be paying a fuck ton less than you would for your annual, like, healthcare plan. And someone who's, like, not making much money at all, who couldn't afford a healthcare plan at all, like, is also paying proportionally less taxes, but also can fucking live. I don't know. Like,
yeah, it's dumb. And then, like, that just creates, it's just so dumb, because the military budget also creates the other problem of surplus, and they get rid of surplus by selling it to local county sheriffs and shit.
Yeah.
So they say,
well, and I mean, and the county sheriffs can't get the equipment on discount unless they use it. Yeah.
So you'll see a tank. I remember walking to my fucking bus stop when I was in high school, and this fucking tank just rolls down the street with like armed military people just chilling out the back, like holding fucking rifles and shit. I was like, oh, did someone just get raided or some shit? Like,
my high school was right next to I don't remember what company it was, but it was right next to like a military contract like thing, and they were just like tanks parked in the parking lot next to my school. And it was really weird.
Very good.
Yeah, it's some weird shit. Like,
Wild.
we could cut our military budget in half and still have the largest military in the world.
Yeah.
Like,
By like double.
yeah. Oh, well, anyway, I don't know. I think that is pretty clean on that subject.
Oh yeah. Yeah, these are the things, the reasons why socialism is not bad.
Right. Yes. But I don't know if we want to hop into this other tweet I had pulled up here.
Yeah.
Oh right, the mouse is over here now. Haha. So this started out. Did they? Oh yeah, this was a post on Vogue. Yeah, I don't know if you saw this. I
saw talk about it.
Just fashion shit, whatever. And Candace Owens, God, Candace Owens hurts me physically. Like, the amount of grift contained within this amount of matter should fucking like implode the earth. It's not possible, but like she tweets out, "There is no society that can survive without strong men. The East knows this." In the West, the steady feminization of our men at the same time that Marxism is being taught to our children. Coincidence. It is an outright attack. And this, I don't know, part of this kind of ties back into what I was talking about with maybe it's not so huge an issue if people are calling even shit like this Marxism, because then that might show Zoomers and like newer people getting into this that it's like, all right, these people are fucking insane. Like okay, if that's what Marxism is, then fucking give me Marxism.
Because younger generations don't have a problem with that. Like gender neutrality is obviously becoming more and more accepted.
Yeah,
so it's like,
and like, I don't know. First of all, the East knows this. It's like there is no fucking monolithic East. First of all, but like you look at places like Japan and shit. Like I mean, femboys are fucking, I don't know. But yeah, then there's Ben Shapiro jumping in the party. Ben Shapiro fucking peak human performance, a god among men, fucking 5'3" manlet. This is perfectly obvious. Anyone who pretends that it is not a referendum on masculinity for men to don floofy dresses is treating you as a full-on idiot. This reads as fucking like satire, honestly. Masculinity and femininity exist. I mean, like, no one's really denying that. They're just saying that it's not bound to outward indicators of masculinity and femininity exist in nearly every human culture. Boys are taught to be more masculine in virtually every human culture because they're all
I mean,
like
he's not wrong.
Yeah, like he's not wrong, but I just don't understand how this is an argument against the like.
That's not even an argument. That's just a statement.
It's just a statement, yeah. But like, also, first of all, like the concept of gender is not like that rigid of a thing. Yes, there have been kind of generalizations towards masculinity and femininity, but like even within our own culture, it was like, if you were a kid before you hit puberty, whether you were a boy or a girl, you were raised as a girl, and then when you hit like puberty or like developed the more like masculine characteristics, then you became a boy, and they would like put you in, you would be dressed in dresses and stuff like that before like puberty and shit, even if you were like a boy. But like, yes, that we have had trends like that have just been like ingrained in our fucking lizard brain ancient society, but like those concepts have always been different in every culture, and we're at a point now where we have researched this pretty in depth, and we're still researching it, and every bit of fucking evidence we found has shown that gender and sex are completely different. Yeah. Maybe there are masculine and feminine characteristics, but that has nothing to do with the biological component of your body.
Yeah. That's just traditionalists value. That's just people not wanting to change. That's always going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing you can do about that. I think that's just something that has to come with time. Like, that's just a pure exposure thing. The more you're exposed to it, the more you're just like, that mentality is just going to become desensitized.
Yeah, I mean, like, people are afraid of what they don't understand, and if they have it just in their environment, they're going to be like, oh, these people aren't just like running up and attacking me. Maybe they're cool. I love it.
I think Ben Shapiro is just jealous that he can't wear a dress because his fans would hate him.
Yeah, exactly.
Ben Shapiro just wants to wear a dress.
Fucking, did you see the Hassan's response to this?
No.
Oh. Here we go. There's no. Yes. Ben Shapiro's just jealous because Hassan can rock the shit way harder. Yeah, where the fuck does Ben Shapiro get the gall to step in as the
masculine authority?
Yeah, right. Like, whoa. Like, dude's over here like getting all upset about wet ass pussy.
Right.
And, make that pull out game weak.
Like, I was more of a classical masculine male at the age of 13 than he is currently. Poor guy. I can guarantee he just wants to wear a fucking dress.
Oh my god, dude.
I can promise you. He just wants to walk around in a fucking short skirt and have all the little boys look at him. That's what he wants.
It's painful. It's painful how stupid some people are. But at some point, I just kind of have to look at it as entertainment. And I'm just glad that with this current administration, those aren't going to be the main people I need to argue with right now.
Yeah.
The main people I need to argue with are liberals.
Yeah. That is an easier fight.
Yeah.
Supposedly. One might think.
Well, yeah. I mean, because at least we have some common moral ground. Because I can talk to most liberals without them telling me how transgender people are going to literally crumble our society from its core. Like, I
was playing a game of Among Us, and one of the dudes' names was ACAG. All cops are good.
Oh,
and
no.
So we started the round. He was the first one dead, and someone reported the body. So the first thing I say in chat was he deserved it. And a bunch of people start calling me the N-word. And then I get voted off.
Damn, I didn't even know you could type the N-word in Among Us.
Yeah.
Oh.
100%. Wow. But what I also found out was your username cannot be democracy.
You can't make your
username in Among Us cannot be democracy.
Democracy was the imposter.
That's what I wanted. But they were like, that name is inappropriate.
God, that's so apt. Holy shit.
So apt.
Oh man, holy shit.
Yeah, that was quality. I was so happy. I was just like, oh my god, they're so mad for no reason. They were like, oh my god. It was the dumbest thing. It was quality. You just good old edgy 13-year-olds on Among Us. Man,
I miss being able to just laugh at some 13-year-olds saying the N-word. I miss, or I hate the fact that nowadays anytime I hear the N-word, it's like fucking neo-Nazis or something like that.
Yeah. Now it has to be taken seriously. I guess what we've been realizing more and more nowadays is that like there's a seed to the edgy humor.
Right.
You know, like that, like there was a streamer during the whole fucking Twitchgate game fight, whatever like Gamergate 2.0 shit just happened with like the fighting game community.
I didn't hear about that.
You know,
I don't follow the gaming community much anymore.
Fair enough. So like a huge portion of the fighting game community got like outed for sexual misconduct and like pedophilic behaviors and grooming audiences and whatnot. And one Twitch streamer who was he would say like the N-word and say Nazi shit all the time. And then like
Classic gamer move.
Yeah, people found out like he was serious about that shit. Like they found like he was sending DMs and shit to like little girls and whatnot, and just starting a bunch of shit. I forgot who it was. I'm not that big into the scene either, but it still shows up on my YouTube feed sometimes, so I saw it in passing. And it's like that humor does have, like, it does have room to grow if it's not like in the right environment, you know? Like if those kids saying the N-word and whatnot are grown in like hateful houses, and like they're reaffirmed these beliefs that like black people are inferior, like black people do this and that and whatever else, and like they'll justify that use of the N-word. They'll be like, it's not that bad because it's true or something like that, you know? So it's something to be mindful of.
Right. Or even if they try to tell themselves it's just a joke, or they think it's just a meme, it's like when people who actually believe that are saying that, it's no longer a meme. But the like, it's okay to have edgy comedy and it's okay to be edgy sometimes, but the point is that the substance of the joke can't just be, hey, edgy thing. You have to make sure that the person understands that there's something else you're calling attention to. Yeah. And so many kids in that area, and so many YouTubers who, when you see signs of like them just making surface level, just like haha N-word, haha like rape, that was funny, right? Then it kind of gives you, I think that's more of like an actual insight to like you're seeing that they don't think these are serious things, and there might be a
there might be a problem there.
Yeah. I mean, like, you see the same thing with, like, Shane Dawson and everything. It's like, I mean, and we've known for fucking years, like, he's been doing this constantly for years, and it's only just recently that it, like, stuck a little bit more, but it's still, like...
Yeah.
He's basically been telling everyone that he's fucking, like, a pedophile for this whole time.
Pretty much. And there was just no accountability on YouTube back then. Now there's way too fucking much accountability on YouTube.
But that's also just with how bullshit corporatist shit is in advertising and all that. And if we didn't have such an issue with fucking neo-Nazis, then we wouldn't have had... like that's the whole reason why like all this shit started, was because like mainstream news sources were like, hey YouTube, why are you running ads on Nazi videos, on people saying the N-word, on stuff like this? It's like,
how come they can make money by saying these terms when we're not allowed to on broadcast television?
Right? It's like, if y'all could just stop being bigots for like 30 seconds. I don't know.
Well,
thank you for calling the customer service line of your local Marxist department.
Don't sue us if you're a company that has a somewhat similar name that might be construed as something else. Just don't do it. Just don't. We like sitting here.
I mean, this is fair use, because I mean, they kind of have like an entertainment. They're part of an entertainment oligarchy, and
who's they? I don't know who you're talking about.
Somebody may or may not. We
speculatively, if there were a company out there that may have a similar name,
let's just say,
suppose hypothetically that there may be a company out there with a similar name and a possibly similar industry.
I mean, if anyone sees this video, it's probably only going to be in the court hearing.
It's only going to be the YouTube AI shutting us down immediately.
But yeah,
Patreon.
Yeah. Speaking of YouTube advertising shenanigans, we're probably not going to make any money off of this content because YouTube doesn't monetize political content.
Exactly.
So we have a Patreon. If you, the one person who found this video, wants to give us $2,
that $2 will go towards a bigger partition.
Yeah. Maybe a pop filter too, so we don't have to wear these masks.
At least one pop filter. We'll share the mic.
Yeah. And yeah, link to the Patreon, Twitter, in the description. And I guess we'll see you next week.
So long.
Bye.